Here's your wrestling news for October 21st, 2020, and your headlines for today include: WWE is under severe investigation, strike team being sent, Karrion Kross training hard in paradise during injury recovery, yet another cousin of Roman Reigns is all set to join WWE, WWE accused of lying about profits so they could fire over 300 people, AEW star takes a dig at Stephanie McMahon, Otis reveals the history of Gran Gordo and his future, WWE are denied permission to trademark ring names of Pete Dunne, Drew Gulak, and others. Backstage belief on Vince McMahon delegating WWE creative to Paul Heyman and Triple H. Brock Lesnar receives an ultimate threat. What's next for him? WWE NXT superstar is all set for amateur kickboxing debut, and more. We are kicking off today with the ongoing global situation, which has shown no sign of slowing down in the US as Florida has become a hotspot with over 16,000 deaths in the state alone. Now, the Orange County Department of Health has asked a strike team to investigate business which may be helping the spread, and 3 of the 17 businesses involved are related to WWE. Those 3 are WWE Full Sail, WWE's Capitol Wrestling Center, and the Amway Center, as the company has struggled with multiple performers testing positive over the past 6 months. It's known that WWE has operated at these venues, though the company released a statement saying they don't believe they have a problem. It reads, "WWE is not open to the public, but rather operating on a closed set with only essential personnel in attendance. As part of ongoing weekly testing protocols, Aventis Labs have administered more than 10,000 PCR tests to WWE performers, employees, production staff, and crew, resulting in only 1.5% positive cases as compared to the current national average of more than 5%. Additionally, extensive contact tracing takes place, and impacted individuals are placed in 14-day quarantine and then only cleared after they test negative. We'll keep fans informed as more details become available, but it seems WWE are confident they've done everything possible to protect themselves, even if the investigators may not feel the same way." Now, next month we'll see the annual Survivor Series, as the November tradition will mark 30 years since the debut of The Undertaker. WrestleVotes is reporting that the event will be built around the dead man, though there are currently no plans for Undertaker to compete. WWE already have their 30 Days of the Dead Man event, which will build nicely to Survivor Series, and whilst the show has no matches booked so far, there were rumors for a huge match featuring Retribution prior to Mustafa Ali being revealed as their leader. Even if the Phenom doesn't wrestle, WWE is going to do something special for him, and given his status as one of the all-time greats, it's only right that they celebrate the dead man. From a legend to a new name in WWE, as Karrion Kross was forced to vacate the NXT title after suffering a separated shoulder during his win over Keith Lee, and now the recovery process is going along well. While in paradise with Scarlett, Kross dropped a new training video from a Tulum jungle gym, a rare sight given that both have been off TV recently. The caption for the Instagram post spoke about how everyone loves a comeback, but some people aren't willing to put in the hard work to make that happen, though Kross clearly is. Whilst Kross is working hard, there's no public timetable as to when he'll be returning to the ring, though given how his recovery is going, it could be sooner rather than later. Over to SmackDown, and the Roman Reigns vs. Jey Uso feud has caused a split in the anoi'i wrestling family, and now the big dog's cousin Lance wants to get in on the action. Speaking to Post Wrestling, Lance Anoi'i spoke about his brief stint in the company as he appeared on Raw as enhancement talent to Shane McMahon in 2019. Lance added that there were talks of him teaming with Roman, who was still a face at the time, to face Shane and the then heel Drew McIntyre, and revealed more about his goal to sign with WWE. "He's, Court Bauer, always had my back, but the talks were for me to join full-time, but I did put it on hold. I didn't know what exactly was going to happen with me in WWE, and MLW offered me a little too many years. I wasn't ready to commit to it at the time, but if it comes around, maybe one day you'll see me there full-time. But for the moment, I'm just gonna keep grinding, and WWE's always my goal." For sure, it was difficult to be in that spot. It was difficult because, like you said, I did that spot, and after that, they were talking about bringing me back for a tag match, possibly against Shane and Drew, but I didn't want to lock myself in and lose all that opportunity. So that was one big one that I just held on to. But like I told Court, I'm ready, man. If you're supposed to keep bringing me in, I'm cool with that also. The tribal chief has shown that his spot as head of the table means more to him than family, as he brutalized Jey Uso during their Clash of Champions match until Jimmy Uso returned to throw in the towel. Now, Roman and Jey will face off for the Universal title in the first ever Hell in a Cell I Quit match, and we're confident that the tribal chief will be looking to send a message to Jey, Jimmy, Lance, and any other anoi'i family members who want to come for his spot at the head of the table. One person who won't be challenging Reigns is AEW's Jake Hager, who this week took aim at his former employer's handling of the April 15th releases. When Stephanie McMahon tweeted about WWE receiving the 2020 Corporation of the Year award, adding that it couldn't be possible to make people smile without everyone's hard work, Hager took his shot at WWE, claiming the company lied about $37 million in quarterly profits so they could justify firing over 300 people during this difficult year. Hager even tagged Andrew Yang, who's been critical of WWE's business practices, and so far, WWE haven't publicly responded to this claim. It's known that WWE does a lot of community outreach and nonprofit work, though they also rake in a lot of revenue, and they did cut a lot of people in this last year, while all other pro wrestling companies were able to get by without releases across the board. We doubt we'll see Hager return to WWE after this comment, but if what he's saying is true, he probably wouldn't want to return in the first place, especially now that he's in AEW. Ronda Rousey news next, as she was spotted recently training with James Storm, fueling more rumors about returning. Speaking to Busted Open Radio recently, the Cowboy explained that this wasn't a planned thing, as he was at a primetime live pay-per-view when someone mentioned that Rousey was in town and she wanted to train with him. Storm added that the training went incredibly well, and given Paul Heyman recently teasing that Rousey may have already re-signed in secret, things could certainly get more interesting regarding the former Raw Women's Champion. Now, the season premiere of Raw saw Tucker tag with the mysterious Gran Gordo, who was quite clearly Otis in a mask, to take on The Miz and John Morrison. Post-match, Gordo, Tucker, and The New Day celebrated backstage when Mandy Rose gave a whole ham to her disguised man, and when translated to English, Gran Gordo means the big fat man. Whilst it's clearly Otis, Mr. Money in the Bank has taken to Twitter to fill in Gordo's fictional backstory, saying, "I first met Gran Gordo back in 2014 during the Pan American Games in Greco-Roman wrestling in Mexico City. We'll always have Tucker's back against those punks Miz and Morrison. The best to wear pink and with incredible lucha skills in the squared circle." The fact that Otis said that Gordo will always have Tucker's back certainly implies that we may see more of the disguise, which means fans will get to see more of one of 2020's breakout stars, who not only won the heart of Mandy Rose, but the Money in the Bank briefcase too. Heavy Machinery were split in this year's WWE draft when Tucker was picked by Raw, though given how the company have booked Otis recently, there's been serious question about whether he's credible enough to pose a threat to SmackDown's Universal Champion Roman Reigns. In any case, Otis never ceases to entertain the WWE Universe, and his appearance as Gran Gordo was yet another example of him doing just that. Trademark news next, as we know WWE always tries to trademark everything they can get their hands on, but it doesn't always go WWE's way. On July 30th, the company filed a trademark for the names of Pete Dunne, Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, and the term Justice, but now it's being reported why these filings have been denied. On October 6th, the USPTO cited that the company did not get written consent from Dunne, Gulak, and Nese, and we'll have to see what WWE does next in their quest to own the names of its superstars. Back to the ring now, and it's no secret that Vince McMahon likes superstars to do things his way, and that's proving to be a problem backstage. Ringside News is reporting that there's a backstage belief that Vince has missed opportunities to delegate responsibility, with one member of creative saying that both Triple H and Paul Heyman have shown that they are more than capable to do the jobs. It was also stated that the game and Heyman know how to move the product forward and get the most out of talent, a far cry from McMahon's reliance on legends and part-time stars. It's no secret that Heyman was set on building new stars on Raw before he was removed as the Red Brand's executive director, as well as Heyman's plan didn't accommodate for the falling ratings down to the ongoing global situation. It clearly wasn't going fast enough for Vince McMahon. One person fans haven't seen in WWE recently is Brock Lesnar, and recently his advocate Paul Heyman had plenty to say on the Ariel Helwani show. Speaking to Helwani for the first time in 6 years, Heyman wasted no time in taking shots at Daniel Cormier, who teased fighting Lesnar, saying that DC has nothing to do with his life except have fantasies about facing Lesnar or Roman Reigns. Unsurprisingly, this didn't sit well with Cormier, who fired back at the Beast and the Tribal Chief, saying he doesn't need a manager, and sent a warning to both Reigns and Heyman. A fellow former UFC heavyweight champion, Cormier was confronted by Lesnar after DC's victory over Stipe Miocic, and whilst rumored, a fight never came to fruition, as Lesnar shifted his focus to WWE. Cormier is now claiming that Lesnar left WWE because he doesn't want anything to do with DC, and whilst he's praised the Beast for his wrestling skill, he also shot at Roman Reigns, saying the Tribal Chief would never be able to defend himself if they met face to face. Now Cormier is retired from MMA and has shifted his focus to being a UFC analyst and commentator, though with the former champion having talks in the past about joining WWE and the company having several former MMA stars already, there's always the possibility Cormier could make it to Vince McMahon's company. Now, WWE Backstage was cancelled in March as Fox chose to cut costs across the board, but now the WWE talk show is coming back. This week, WWE Backstage will return for one night only and will air at 10 p.m. Eastern on FS1, immediately after SmackDown, which will also be on FS1. Since the show's last episode, Renee Young has departed WWE, and we'll have to see how this revival goes this Friday after SmackDown. From SmackDown to NXT, as Xia Li has been an impressive member of the Black and Gold brand and is now taking her talents to another sport. This Saturday, Lee will make her amateur kickboxing debut at the Combat Night Orlando, which will be promoted by Mitchell Chamal. Speaking to the Roman show, which isn't connected to our defending Universal Champion, Chamal said that he didn't know Lee was with WWE until recently, adding, "She is an athlete looking to test her skill on our event. We do our best to treat all our athletes the same regardless of what they do outside the cage." WWE's first Chinese female superstar, Lee will be taking on Anna Housel in the 125-pound contest, and we'd like to wish the NXT star luck in her fight this Saturday to a crowd of 200 socially distanced fans. Speaking of superstars taking their talents out of WWE, Elias has a new album coming out, and the company is certainly trying to get the word out. With his new album Universal Truth releasing this week, WWE have put out a ton of merch, including hats, hoodies, and t-shirts to promote the newest creation by Elias. Currently, Elias's match with Jeff Hardy is the only non-cell match confirmed for this Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and win, lose, or draw, we imagine the singer-songwriter will be earning a pretty penny thanks to his album's new merchandise. And we're ending with Impact Wrestling, as after releasing his wife and the company's first female world champion Tessa Blanchard, Daga is now a free agent too. Wrestling Inc. are reporting that Daga requested his release from Impact, and that this request came some time ago, but the company had been trying to convince him to sign a new deal. This obviously didn't happen, as Daga was let go yesterday after joining Impact last year, and though he was willing to work the Slammiversary event his wife no-showed, he wasn't booked for the event and won't be booked anymore for Impact Wrestling.